Randall Winston. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est un honneur de présenter le maire de New York, Randall Winston.
Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and I just wanted to come on. It's a Saturday night. It's cold. There's not a heck of a lot to do, so I thought I'd just come on and say hello. No, there's a little more to it than that. I have decided that I am going to change the number of my subscribers and bring it down a little bit for my next giveaway. I'm going to go from 714 to 529. 529 represents the last issue number of Adventure Comics that was out, Adventure. It was a series till 490, then it was digest till 503, and then came back just before the new 52 and became a few more issues, and it came back as a Legion Superboy book like it was during its main time between issues 247 and 380. So I'm going to go with the number 529 for my next giveaway. I'm at 469 as of the airing of this video, so it's really not that much. I haven't got anything yet, but I've got a good idea what I'm going to do, and I've ordered some stuff for it. So when it comes in, I will show it on a live stream closer to the time that I think people are going to like what I've got in mind. So we're hoping for some stuff. So let us say hello to everybody who's shown up tonight. We've got Lyle. Hi, Lyle. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Kay Munins. Andreas. Hi, Richard. Hi, Chonko. Hi, Big Nasty. Hi, Dagger Cards. Hi, JSS. And no, Mike Dennis. Oh, I did say hello to. Hi, Mike Dennis. Well, I want to say this with regards to why I picked these numbers, Dagger. Everybody and their dog has the 200 giveaway, the 500 giveaway, the 1,000 giveaway. The reason I pick these numbers is not only to be a little different than everybody else, but I do it to honor books that I really liked. And that's why my first giveaway was 222, because it was the number of Jimmy Olsen / Superman family issues, and why my next one after that was 381, because that was based on the first issue number of Supergirl getting her own series. So I am going to drop a link if anybody wants to come in, and we'll have a chat. It's just a fun night. I wanted to announce that I've got a few books to show, and I'm dropping a link in the chat right now if anybody wants to come on in. I'm feeling a little patriotic tonight. I don't know where that's coming from at all. So I'm going to start by showing a couple books I bought today, actually. My kids and I decided to just go for a little drive, and naturally I ended up at the comic book shop. And I got 4 books today. I got this Fantastic Four 28, which is the current issue. I got this issue 35 of Walt Disney Daisy and Donald. I liked the cover. She's knitting little covers for the little covers for the golf clubs as he's playing. So I thought it was very cute. And because this was really why I went to the comic store, I hadn't got this series that I've heard was really good. Here's Metamorpho 1, and I got the nice silver one. And I also got this, Metamorpho 2, which came out last week, which has them playing in a rock band, which brings back some memories. Anyways, we've got someone in the back that I want to bring to the stage. Everybody out there, please welcome to the stage Mr. Collecto6, Stephen Gedner.
Yo
Hi,
ho!
Stephen. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm vertical, and that's a good thing.
Awesome. As I said tonight, I was just making an announcement, and I thought, well, I looked around and a lot of people weren't on it this time. So I thought, what the heck? I'd come on and show some books. I pulled the entire run of the second series of Supergirl that I thought I would show tonight.
I like that issue one's very nice. I like
Yes.
that issue. I want to channel Alan. I have that book.
It might, K. Munin, the Metamorpho purchases just might have something to do with Stephen showing that books, but I will never tell. So what I like the most about this Supergirl book is that Carmine Infantino was the penciler for the majority of the series. So he didn't always do the covers because, for example, the one you were looking at, issue 1 here, I'm just going to make myself big for a second, was a Buckler and Giordano cover. And this one actually came out the month after Superman Family was canceled, so there was never a month without a Supergirl book for a while. So what would you like to show us tonight if you're going to come in? And I'd love to see some more books. I always want to see your books.
Well, you said that you had a bunch of books to show. I'd let you be the boss, and then I will pitch in at a propitious time as you see fit.
Awesome. Well, let's start. We'll start right now with 5 or 6 more of the Supergirl books. I'll make myself big. Feel free. And by the way, anybody wants to come in, I put a link in the chat. We'll tonight is a hangout night. Let's have a hangout. So, as I said, this is Supergirl issue 1. This is when she moves to Chicago because she was done with her school job and she decided to go back to school to take more drama. She was done with her school job. She had just gotten fired off the soap opera. She was decided to do what she came to Chicago for a new start, as they so do. This here is, in fact, it's a good thing she got here because just as she got here, there was a crisis over Chicago. And I don't quite remember what happened in this book, but I do know. By the way, the first 8 issues of this series had Lois Lane backups. Yes, Richard, DC used real cities from time to time. Supergirl especially. She was in a city just outside of Miami when she was teaching, and she was in San Francisco when she worked at the TV station. She was in New York when she was the actress on TV, and then she moved to Chicago. So the Supergirl actually, after she left Midvale, was actually in real cities for the most part. Here we've got a issue where she fights the Decay. Now, Decay was a creature similar to that has the powers to destroy anything it touched or he touched.
Decay, what a great name.
Yes, well, I mean, look at him. He looks like a.
There's Parasite. He looks like a Swamp Thing or something like that. He just whatever the heap.
Exactly, he's just a different thing and such. Next up, we've got issue 4, and this one she fights a group called the Gang, which features prominently in the next year and a half or so of stories in this series run, because they were actually trying to make new enemies for Supergirl to actually have as enemies, and in some cases, most cases, it didn't click, but in a couple cases, they've actually continued to the present day. Here's one. Don't stare at it too closely or you might fall asleep. This one is one where she fought against somebody. One of the members of the gang was somebody called Ms. Mesmer, and she had hypnotic powers. And going back from this book to this book, you go back to here. Ms. Mesmer put it so that Supergirl always felt she was in her Linda identity. This is volume 2, Big and Nasty. Okay. And I agree with you, Kay Munin. She does look, it does look like she was facing a modern Clayface. But in this book, she really is affected quite a lot by the hypnotization, and until she decides to stay in as Linda for a while, and then it sort of goes with it. I'll show 2 more before we move to our friend and guest Stephen, because 6 and 7 is a natural sort of ending point for the first bit of the story. This here is issue 6. The giant robot. Well, it turns out that the gang was working for a company. For a group similar to Hive and all those type groups that had their headquarters underneath Lake Michigan. This robot was going to be their big way to get rid of Supergirl when the gang failed. Because she captured 3 of the 4 members of the gang. Only the leader got away, and she went and warned everybody what was going on down in the headquarters. So the robot came out from Lake Michigan to fight. I think this is a Gil Kane cover. I can't quite see the signatures on it, but it has his style. So I really liked this one when it first came out because I thought the pink sky was absolutely gorgeous. I bought this series when I had this whole series when I was a collector before. So JSS, I'll have to take your word for it. I've never been to Chicago. And the last one I'm going to show right now, Supergirl follows the robot back, discovers the base, and fights them like crazy. She breaks up the group. The feds managed to arrest everybody and yada, yada, yada. And but the leader for the gang, the one, her name was Brains. That was so original. Manages to escape in the chaos. In the chaos, and she comes back later. So that's the first part of the series. This series, by the way, is only 23 issues because it was meant to go on longer, but it had to be suddenly canceled because of the death of Supergirl in Crisis. This went right to the end.
So there was no coordination between the titles, or they knew she was going to die and
they
just killed it?
They didn't know she was going to die. They knew she was going to be involved. They kept it secret because they didn't want it getting out until the month it came out. They wanted to do it as a surprise.
So I'm sure it was a surprise to the people writing the second series of her story, wasn't it?
Well, actually, out there, apparently issues 24 through 26 were completed, but not issued because they canceled the series with her death. So somewhere out there, there's a whole bunch of art that hasn't been used for this series. I'm going to make you big, Stephen. Have at her.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody here would be happy to see what you've got.
All right. Thank you. No pressure. Just a little good girl. Here is that redhead that Peter Parker hangs around with, MJ.
Very nice.
In her spider negligee. This is, I'm assuming that's Spider-Gwen.
It sure looks like it. Oh, we have somebody else to join us. If you don't hang on for a second there, Stephen.
Sure.
Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Chonko. Welcome.
Well, Chonko, how's it going?
Hi, guys. Nice to.
I'm glad to see you stop by. Since you're by, tell us a little bit about yourself. I don't think I've had the pleasure of talking with you yet.
Trying to adjust my sound. I'm getting it's the first time I've been on the stream, so I'm trying to adjust the sound. Not in stereo. Sorry. tried to having an issue here. The settings, the audio. I probably got to turn the audio down, I guess.
Well, you sound fine. Whatever you're
sound
using
fine
now, you
now.
sound just fine.
It's like it's echoing on my end. Yeah. Chonko Comics and Nerd Culture. I started a channel a couple of weeks ago, but probably saw me pop up in streams a couple of times. But long time worker, and especially the Friday and Monday shows on Alan's channel, and love what you guys do. Deeply envious of Steven's books that he shows, and yeah, I've been collecting since I was probably about 3 years old. First book I ever had was a Marvel Treasury edition of Hulk, which
Very
someone
nice.
just bought me a copy of for Christmas, which was great. But yeah, I collect a lot of Golden Age horror and whatever the keys I can get, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think only have like 31 subscribers right now, but
I'm one of them. I did
I
subscribe
know.
to your channel.
I thank you so much, man. I was deeply appreciative. Every subscriber I get, I'm always really happy when someone subscribes. But yeah, I had some new cool stuff, and you guys were showing books, so I figured I'd jump on, and when Stephen was done, I could maybe show a few cool things today.
Well, I think that sounds great.
Great. Well, we'll give you a few minutes to get some books together, and we'll go back to Stephen and let him to show a few more books, if that's okay with you. Awesome.
Is it all right with me? Is it all right with me?
Oh, I know it's all
Okay,
right.
it must be all right with me. Okay. Here she is yet again.
Very nice.
I just think this is a great cover.
Yeah, that's reminiscent of the first time you saw her, right?
Well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, hey, face it, Tiger, you've hit the jackpot.
He sure did.
And then we have a little beach action
Whoa.
with the seldom seen spider buggy.
That is a cool car. Imagine that.
Oregon has dunes, and I remember as a kid, my father took us down to the Oregon dunes, and a guy had a car that looked just like this. It was a Volkswagen that had a fiberglass body and a roll cage, and we went grinding all around the dunes. It was a lot of fun, but it looked sort of like that. And they're down at the coast, which was also kind of reminiscent.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I don't know, is this this I don't think, is this MJ, do you think? I'm not sure.
I think it's Gwen Stacy.
I think it's Gwen Stacy too. I agree with you. Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, I will drop a link to Chonko's channel in just a second here. You keep going there, Stephen. I'll be back in a sec.
Here is Peter and MJ in one of the many covers where they're cavorting. Here is a variant edition Black Cat.
Oh, nice. More and more, Black Cat is becoming a favorite of mine.
I have Black Cat, and I have Psylocke, or as some people say, Phylock.
Yes.
Psylocke, and I have a lot of Rogue. I have a lot of, a lot of these auctions that I go to will have these Virgin variant or trade variant of the Good Girls, the different kinds of covers. And I've accumulated enough of these now that, in variations of theme, that I'm really always, I have a lot of all these gals. It's really, there's nothing wrong with it, but I have to say I've almost reached saturation.
Yeah.
When I
They
see a
do
new
put a lot of those ones out.
I think that the Good Girl variants and multiples of the various covers has become a thing and has been a thing for a while because I think the reason why is because they sell. I think that the ordinary books that are somewhat mundane, I don't believe sell as well. So they have to do something to try to keep the sales going. Here is an homage to
Yeah.
300,
Very
That's great.
nice though.
one
That's,
of the many.
who's the artist? Do you know?
Let's see here, Don Gardino.
Oh, very nice.
It's a Don Gardino cover. Here is a Panosian of Jackpot and Black Cat.
I have to admit, I enjoyed that miniseries that came out not too long back. The
I
ones
never
with-
saw it. I never
Well,
saw it.
I know that I've shown the. I did a video on that series, about the books there. I thought they were really, really, really interesting. I mean, like the story was just your typical run of the mill story, but the art was so good. Like Adam Hughes did 2 of the covers, and it was just amazing.
He's no Don Gardino, but he's good.
Yeah.
He might make a name for himself someday.
I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for him. Here is another Jackpot and Black Cat. And this one is actually signed by Arthur Adams.
Nice.
Chonko, are you mostly a Golden Age guy or a Silver Age guy or a combination of, or what?
I'm a convert, and largely due to I was already kind of fascinated by Golden Age horror, but I've actually Alan and yourself, you really have converted me over to some of the other things. I've started collecting. It's so bad once you find things that you didn't know existed, and then suddenly someone shows you something that you didn't know you needed.
That is the story of my life.
I feel
In
this
a
way every time I
nutshell,
watch
Chonko,
it.
right there.
It gets expensive, and Alan introduced the series Crimes by Women.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was fascinated by it, and I started collecting that. And I'm trying to get a full run of Witch's Tales now. I have probably about half of them, I guess now. And then whenever if I can find something that with a really nice cover, totally intact in one of the books I really want, then I've been making the plunge when I can. But yeah, as you know, Golden Age, it's prohibitively expensive. But
depending upon the book,
yeah.
and the book and title, and also depending upon the condition or whether it's restored, and there are various other things. Lots of them are. Kane Munin, he got me into Zombie Tramp too. Him and Bigby McFly. And what they did was they sucked me into the vortex, and then of course I, having no free will whatever,
Exactly.
fell victim to the siren call of Zombie Tramp.
Take my money. Take it.
Twist my arm, but not too much,
right.
I won't say neither here nor there, but there might be some Zombie Tramp in the prize for the contest I'm announcing today.
Oh, that'll be
I love
good.
Zombie Trap.
It's there's a lot of them too. I have just a few more to show, and then Mr. Chonko,
great.
do you have is Chonko your name, or is that your handle?
Everybody calls me. It's my dog. My dog's name. My name's Mike. But
Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Okay. Do you mind if I
named
call
him-
you Mike?
or Chocolate. I played hockey when I was young, so I've responded to much worse than Chonko. So
I was in a fraternity house, and it was the same thing with me.
and I
It's
think
sort of-
like when you name your channel Chonko and you're kind of like this like a big baldy beardy guy, people are just going to call you Chonko, so it's fine. It's not
Okay.
the worst thing.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay, let's make Stephen big again. Oh God.
I'm not sure what she's selling, but whatever it is, I'm buying.
That's right.
This is Black Cat again, but it's not Black Cat because they can't say Black Cat when she looks like that. Here is
It's
I
true.
dropped something.
again. Here is a
She
really,
dropped my
really.
wallet.
Here is a really, really cute one.
Very nice.
Is that Peach Momoko?
I don't know if it's Momoko or not. I don't think that face looks very Momoko-y to me. I don't know. I think Peach Momoko has a lot more of the 70s psychedelic trappings around them, quite a bit, seemingly.
Hi,
Here
Callie.
is. Hi, Callie. Here is a series that was done. Terry Dodson and his wife, Rachel, did a lot of Harley Quinn, and they did various titles, Spider-Man type things. I have a piece of original art from Harley Quinn #1, which was done by Terry Dodson and his wife Rachel. And this was a set that just came up. It wasn't terribly expensive, but it's all of these are by Terry Dodson and Rachel Dodson.
That's nice. I like that.
That is nice.
Wow, another good one.
Very,
There's a recurring theme, and I can't put my finger on it because I'd be arrested.
I just like that they all seem to be together in one group. Like you file it that way or something.
I do. I can't find anything otherwise, and I don't have as many books. Good heavens, Big Lyle has 300 long boxes. How does he know where anything is? All I know is if I had 300 long boxes of books, I can tell you where the book was that I would want to get. I would know instantly where I would have to go, and that would be in the bottom of the last pile under the last box, and that's where the book would be that I would be wanting to get.
And
Because that is the way it works, right?
My house is so small, I would be sleeping on long boxes.
I just have short boxes here, and I'm already being told, you might want to trim a little bit. I'm never going to get rid of anything. Who are we kidding? Oh, now that's a nice one, too. Do you think
Sure.
Felicia has finally gotten to the point where she likes Peter, too? And because remember in the beginning, she liked Spider-Man, but not Peter?
I confess to you that I am more of a cover by guy for Spider-Man. Spider-Man to me, I never really got into this. I appreciate Spider-Man. I get it, but I never collected them. I never collected Spider-Man. Here or there, maybe a few, but it was always something else. And I do have Marvel, but I grew up on DC, and I started with the Legion of Superheroes, and then I graduated to Flash. And by that time, because I was collecting from 60, by 60, and from 56 all the way up to 61, it was just DC with superhero stuff, and Marvel was swirling the drain. And then, of course, FF1 came out, and that's what started them going again. And the Fantastic Four is the same way. And I had some early Fantastic Four, but it's all about interpersonal problems. It's hello, champ. It's all about interpersonal problems. And said, I'm really upset because the Darlene kicked me out, and I can't get my carburetor fixed. And then he fights some villain or something or another, and all the time he's fighting the villain, he's thinking about these familial problems or something going on with school or whatever it is. And I like the fact I guess I preferred the white bread, if you will, of DC, where there's a hero who is clearly defined with a good personality, where you get to get into the head of the character and enjoy and watch him as he goes through the process of trying to figure out what's going on. Or like with the Legion, which Legionnaires, we'll send these 3 Legionnaires here. We're going to send these 3 Legionnaires there. So you have multiple adventures with interesting personalities, and they're not worrying about Aunt May getting another serum to keep her when she's 645. She's catching up with Methuselah. She looks so wrinkled, and of course Ditko made her wrinkled. And by the way, Have you noticed you never see the Ancient One at the same time you see Aunt May?
You don't.
Talk amongst yourselves. Here's another one.
Very nice. That is pretty cool. Is that Nightwing? Sorry, Nightcrawler with her?
And that is Nightcrawler, Lunch Money Mike's favorite character.
Yeah.
I like his characterization in the movies where he's a very nice person and is trying hard and uses his powers and is brave but a gentleman. I do like that a lot. He don't judge a book by its cover, a very logical thing.
It's kind of thematic for the X-Men too, right? I mean, it was kind of like, stamping out prejudice.
Jean Grey. Who do I love? I love Scott. I love Wolverine. I love Professor X. I don't know what to do. What do I do? And then the angel, I can't tell her how I feel about her. And then Bobby goes from being a snowman and he crystallizes, and then what do I do? And then they don't know what to do, and how can we do this? And Xavier has to put on the mind meld helmet, and he's zapping people left and right, and then everybody's coming up. It is what it is, and it's okay, and I appreciate it. I just don't I don't collect that as much. I like the Hulk. I think that a lot of the damnation of the Hulk that they said, well, we didn't figure out what he wanted to do in the first 6 issues. And the reason why was because they were trying to find their footing to try to figure out how they're going to make the Hulk continue, because he was the king of the monsters, all the Marvel monsters. And of course, the Thing is a Marvel monster too, if you want to come down to it. But the Hulk is a Marvel monster, the Marvel monster. They pulled out all the stops to try to figure out what they could do to get that thing to go. All these different plot devices that they used. And now, of course, the Hulk is huge. But in the day, people were done with it. And it went 6 issues, and they had the best artists they could do, and Stan wrote the best he could, and the thing went down in flames. And those first 6 are fascinating issues to read.
I love the Hulk.
I think.
Very gorgeous.
Nice.
I like the fact that you have a bunch of different artists drawing of it as well. It's like it's not the same artist all the time doing the variant covers.
That's the thing. And like I do actually have chunks of J. Scott Campbell. I have chunks of Zerdy. I have chunks of Perillo. I have chunks of Bruce Timm. I mean, various. If it isn't them and David Nakayama, I got a big chunk of David Nakayama, and I love his work. I really do. I like his, and that's what a lot of these auctions had. That they would have the Virgin variants of all these different characters and incarnations of their work, and after you've got 15, 20, 30, 70, 125, 150 of them, you kind of reached saturation. It's good, but I'm starting to repeat myself. That is to say, if I have a cover now this is the same cover, but instead of it being Black Cat, it's going to be Marvel Girl, or it's going to be somebody else, but it's the same theme. And there are enough other books that I really would like to go after that I perhaps wouldn't do that. But here is a nice Amazing Spider-Man, a little different look, a little bit more grave. And I have one more chunk to show right now. Or Matt, do you want to show something? Or
let's let
Chonko show. Okay.
Is Chonko ready to show, Mike?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I turned my mic off for a second, so I didn't know if it was still off. Yeah. I see if I can return the favor. I know you've turned me on to some books that I've started collecting, but always been a big Dave Sim fan. Well, fan of Dave Sim's work. I don't know if I'm a big fan of Dave Sim.
He's a little nuts, isn't he?
Some of the recent stuff, like when some of the stuff from years ago, I didn't really think, but yeah, the kind of grooming allegation stuff that surfaced recently, that I can't get down with that. So, but so in the kind of the mid early 2000s. Dave Sim, after Cerebus ended, he did a little book called Glamour Puss, and
Okay.
it's lampooning the fashion industry and fashion magazines, and it's kind of typical
Can
Dave
you-
Sim.
Yeah,
humor.
there we go. I was just going to say, could you put that on an angle because the glare was pretty
Try.
pretty bad. We're trying to help you out so that you know what.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just some things like plastic surgery requests, pole dancing for preteens, and it's okay to consider Access Hollywood the nightly news. It's like kind of good girl art, but like a fashion magazine lampoon. There's another one where it's censored and it's a salute to rectangles, and the Glamour Puss swimsuit issue.
Very nice.
And who will pass on in this sudden death issue. So I'm trying to put together this run. And yeah, I always liked Dave Sim's work, and that's one that I've kind of retrospectively gone back and checked out. So I have a couple. I think you might like here, Stephen. So Rogue Savage Land #1.
Yes.
JSS. It just dropped, and I got the Hughes foil variant here.
Very
That
nice.
is awesome.
And
Yes, that is
amazing.
such a beautiful cover.
Yeah, he does great females, but he does like the faces are always great. Is one of the things.
That's another one I was looking for in the comic book store today, but they were out of.
Yeah. I got the regular one. I actually went by the comic book store today and picked up the regular one, but this one I had to order. But got a Catwoman #72 from the great Nick Fury, and
Nice.
Very, very nice.
in the hot tub drinking hot cocoa with
Yeah, I
The
think Alan has that.
Oh, does he? Yeah. But yeah, I saw this and I thought, wow, just again. But Zirdi pretty much crushes everything he does.
I have to.
Hello. Then I got a few things. I got some stuff back from CGC, and I got a couple like auction win things. So I got a on Comic Link. Got a Dave Stevens cover, Alien Worlds.
I have that, but it's only raw.
Yeah,
Guess how much I paid for it?
like
$1,000.
$10 Canadian.
nice. This nobody was bidding on this at all, and I got it for like $50, which it goes for a lot more.
With that being a 9.6 in a graded, that's a great price.
Yeah, sometimes on Comic Link, if you watch, people don't bid on things, and I've gotten some really what I think are pretty good deals for some really good books. Then a couple things I sent in recently to CGC that I had sitting around. I sent stuff off to a guy named Ron at Palm Beach Presser. If anybody needs pressing, the guy's amazing. I've used a couple
Ferret
different
just
people.
made it.
I'm sorry.
The ferret's here.
Oh, I press books myself sometimes, but if it's something I really want in a high grade, I send it down to this guy. He's good. He's going to get busier. Bry's Comics just did a whole episode with him.
I know Bryce Comics. I've watched him a few times.
Yeah, I love Bry. He's a good dude, and I've bought some books from him. Real honest guy, good guy. But got this. Deadpool's Secret Wars. I think it's #2. This first Gwenpool, and it
Nice.
cover appearance in a 9.8. So
I like the trick. I like the trick label too.
yeah. I decided $5, whatever. I'll pay. Go up with the label. Then a couple other things that I had around for a while. I know Stephen has this, and I know his is in better shape than mine, but this just came back from CGC a couple days ago. But Nightmare, great Matt Baker.
Oh yeah, that is such a great cover. It's overlooked too. But you know how? Look how many of the seaweed gals are actually on that cover, Chonko. Did you see how many there are?
It's hard to tell.
It's like
Like,
4 or 5, isn't there?
oh, there's even more. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Top right too.
Oh, yeah, 6. Yeah, it's and I. It's one of the few like horror related covers that Matt Baker did. Like, there's only a couple.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's a 1.8, but I mean, again, it really looks good. There's some edge wear and some stuff like that, but
It's got nice colors and it presents well.
Yes.
yeah, I like it. I'll be happy to display it. I mean, you can see some of my books back here that I'm really proud of are not in the highest grade, but they're books that I'm really happy to show. And then
Stephen always says, buy the book, not the grade, and I agree with him.
when it comes to Golden Age or Silver Keys or anything, I agree completely. I mean, modern, you probably want to have something
You almost have to with the modern.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to have it with the modern, I should say.
Yeah, I agree completely. But yeah, if it looks good, I mean, and it's going to display well, and you're proud to show it, I mean, I absolutely. I mean,
I see several familiar faces on the wall behind you. I have to confess with you.
yeah, I think you probably know a lot of these. There are a couple of things. How about if I move my head a little bit?
Oh, I love that. Is that a piece of original art?
Carl Barks original art.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you know he lived in Grants Pass, Oregon?
He Carl Barks. He like most of his life he lived in the Southwest.
Yeah, he lived down near I think either Klamath Falls or Grants Pass here in Oregon. And it was it's when you have a big star like that living in your state, especially for Oregon, you have to kind of pay attention, who's there. But I love Carl Barks is the good duck artist.
Oh yeah.
They said.
And so screwed over by Disney. So like I mean, for years they wouldn't even give his name that he worked on any of this stuff. Like they licensed Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Scrooge McDuck that he made, and they made tons of money. And he was totally in the dark about that, like for years. In fact, the guy who created Astro Boy, the Japanese
Right.
Osamu Tezuka
was a huge Carl Barks fan. Like the only American comic books he liked were Donald Duck comics, and that's what inspired him to start Astro Boy. For years, he was collecting Carl Barks art, not even knowing who he was. And when he finally found out who he was, he flew him to Japan, and they had parades and stuff for him. It was
I think that the North American public doesn't realize how popular Disney characters and comics are in Europe and Japan. Like they're
international.
Absolutely.
I mean, Mickey Mouse was the one American thing that Mussolini allowed to be in Italy during his because he was a huge Disney fan.
A dubious distinction.
Yes, but I'm just using how big it was.
Right. Yeah, and there's a really great documentary on YouTube somebody put together about Carl Barks that's really worth watching if anybody does a search. He's criminally underrated artist, and more people should know his story, I think.
It would surprise you how many people do know about Carl Barks. I know that any guy that collects Gottfriedson was the guy that would do Mickey Mouse, and other people too would do Donald Duck. But when Carl Barks, his style and his ability to translate emotion and facial expressions, it's so good. And he makes Donald look so mad. I mean, I love Donald Duck. I mean, he's my favorite Disney character.
Mine too.
Yeah, I've always been a big Scrooge McDuck fan. I don't know what that says about me.
Yeah,
but
I like Scrooge too, but not as much as I like Donald, because Scrooge being a comic book creation was only in the comics for a long time, and I like the cartoons a lot. Alan is a huge Uncle Scrooge fan.
Yeah, that's a Scrooge back there. But so another book that I have I've had this raw for probably 25 years, and with the movie coming out, I decided I'd just send it in and get it graded. But I've got a FF 48 that I sent in, and got the fancy pants sticker on that one too. on top. But
Oh, very nice.
yeah, I mean a 3.0, but still, again, the cover's not the best, but yeah, I had it for so long, and I kind of
Now
wanted.
that label, Chonko, that label there, of the Fantastic Four, that you see them running like that, that is the issue that has the first appearance of the Inhumans.
Oh
And
yeah,
that is the front, where they, in the front of the cover, that's them running, and the Inhumans are way in the
real
background on the
tiny,
top of a
tiny
building,
in the back.
tiny little figures all kind of waving around, waving
Yeah.
around.
But then, so I have some Bruce Timm stuff to show.
Sure.
I know Steph was a big Bruce Timm. So
Well,
I've been
why don't we hold that for the
okay.
second
Sorry,
round?
sorry.
No, and I'm not criticizing whatsoever. Let's just because I want to leave some space. I've only got a limited time I can be on
Okay.
camera, and I want to leave some space in case somebody like a Lyle might want to come on.
Of course.
But hang on here. I'm going to show.
Lyle who?
This. I'm going to show five more books, and then I'll go back to Steven, and then we'll go back to Chonko. Okay?
Yes,
Sounds
your
good.
show.
All right. Yes, but I like to. They see me all the time. They don't always see you guys in your books. This is issue 8 of the Supergirl series, introducing Reactron. Now I'm 90% sure this is for his first appearance, but he is one of those characters I mentioned that from this time on is a Supergirl villain. In the new Krypton storyline a few years ago, he ended up being the one that kills her father when Kandor is enlarged on Earth. So Reactron, and the whole time he's able to create red sun radiation right from the start, and that knocks Supergirl out, which is why the new Doom Patrol man is in the book to help out. And this story,
This is all clicks and whistles to me. I don't know anything about that stuff.
Okay. This is definitely a Gil Kane cover. He's got the signature on it. And this is the second part to that story. Supergirl finally manages, literally, she's down to her last erg of energy, and she's able to, you know how it is, in that last second, with a combination of the 4 Doom Patrol members and Supergirl, they're able to stop him.
Have you collected Doom Patrol from the Silver Age, Matt?
I have a couple, but not too many. It's more of their. I don't have the Doom Patrol per se. I have their crossovers with Superman. Their crossovers with, like, I've got their second issue, their third issue, their fifth issue appearance kind of thing, but not their actual comic book. That only lasted like 7 issues, and that was one of the ones that disappeared during the implosion of 78. So, and I always found it, speaking new Doom Patrol there, this one here, Celsius, she's actually Niles Calder's wife. She was a secret wife. No one knew she was married to him until
Niles Calder is the chief in the wheelchair, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, that guy's ancient. What's that? She's a babe. What's going on?
She married him young, and that's all I know. And it's because she was really fascinated with him, and she fell in love with him at 18. They did make a point in her Who's Who entry of saying that she was a young adult. So this here, issue 10, Supergirl gets, this is the type of cover that Alan likes, the, put it in a tube cover.
It looks like that Gus Ricka cover that I showed, Dynamic.
Yeah. Well, this one is Hannigan and Giordano. But what happened in this book was that she gets captured by this professor because she is weak from all of the radiation.
Reactron,
from Reactron. And so he manages to put her in one of those. Think of the Star Wars scene where Luke is in the tube, like the back of the tank. Similar to that, because he is taking her DNA to create a whole bunch of little Supergirls. And each one of them has the same amount of, it's fractional, but if you have them all at once, it's like she's fighting herself. So try and fight against, like 9 or 10 or 12 of these little things. And
We can never have too many Supergirls.
no, that's true. Thank you, Ferret. I appreciate the compliment. A lot of times the cover makes me remember what it is. And the last one I'm going to show, because this was the last one titled The Daring News Adventures of Supergirl. With the next issue, it just becomes Supergirl. So this is the last Gil Kane cover as well from the run. And in this one, she manages to hide herself in a lead suit and take them out with green kryptonite. And but unlike other Kryptonians, they never wake up when the kryptonite is taken away. And she's able to put them under control in the Fortress of Solitude. And in a couple of issues, Superman comes to help her try to discover how to sort of get rid of them. So,
Like Army of Darkness, where you have all the little ashes and he's going around stomping them.
no, that's possible. I've never read Army of Darkness, but
Oh, the movie.
It's the movie.
yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I think
Oh, you'd love it. It's funny.
I know.
It is so good. And Bruce Campbell is so funny as Ash. He really is.
This is my boomstick.
Bruce Campbell's been in Ottawa a few times. He seems to be a pretty stand-up guy. I mean, at least I can't say that I dislike the man. Okay, Stapo.
He said he wouldn't sign any more chainsaws either. My
Yes,
son
I
went to one
remember
of his
saying
sons. He
that.
says, "I won't sign any more chainsaws."
Shop smart. Shop S-Smart.
I appreciate the sentiment, AG, but I am not monetized yet.
Here is ElfQuest number 1.
Mm.
And this is the copy. It was signed by Wendy and Richard Peeney. So this is a signed copy. Alan said that he had a signed copy, and I said I do too, and he said no, you don't. And so I thought I would just show this, and then he'll say, well, that's not the same cover, so I'm still right and you're wrong, which is of course
Just
the
like
litany.
Jesus Christ, Big Lyle's book there, the Popeye book that he said he had.
It's something else. This one's for Mr. Nate. I know he likes the Warlord.
I'm beginning to become a huge fan of the Warlord too. I've bought like 14 issues of the series in the last couple months when I was doing Mike Grell's.
Grell's artwork in this is very good. He flies, I think it's an SR-71, and then it's just like Turok, Son of Stone. He falls into this cauldron of the land that time forgot kind of thing. And he has this auto-loading pistol, and he has to be careful how many times he shoots it because he only has so much ammunition, etc. Right. Here is a beautiful copy of Freedom Fighters number 1.
Oh, what a beautiful book. Yeah. I've loved that cover forever.
Now, as you can see in the middle of who the Freedom Fighters are, DC bought out Quality Comics heroes. They basically got the rights to them. And so the Freedom Fighters are basically the heroes of Quality. And they used to say that Quality had the best artists. Quality had the best artists and the worst characters. And that DC had the best characters and the worst artists.
I could see that. That sounds right about right, actually.
Is that Uncle Sam in the middle, Stephen?
It is.
Yes. It's Uncle Sam and the Human Bomb, the Phantom Lady, the Ray, and the Condor. And then there's Dollman down at the bottom. And I believe EC, that's Ernie Chua or Ernie Chan. I can't remember how he was Chua and then he's Chan, and I'm uncertain, but one of those. As far as I get a little vague on what the timing of how
I don't have number 1, but I've got 4 or 5 issues of that series. Plus, I have the JLA where double shot where they were with the Justice League when they were introduced.
Oh yes, that's a great one. 104, 106, or something like that. Here is G.I. Joe number 1.
Another good book.
And then here is I have a couple of these. I have a couple of the silent issue or the no the whatever issue. And so
Right.
I have the Alpha, the Silence, and then I have the Omega, and this is the last issue of GI Joe.
Now, is that the last Marvel issue? Because IDW continued it from the
No,
same.
no, this is the last Marvel issue.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
what they and they here is uh here is a beautiful copy of Flaming Carrot #1.
Another good one. That's another one of Nate's favorites.
I hear my bride is back. Here is the Goon.
Hi,
Uh,
Susan.
uh, she hasn't. The garage door is opening. She isn't here quite yet. She says, "I heard that." Here's one of 1,000 issue of the Goon.
Very
Underrated.
nice.
The Goon is underrated. It's a good series.
You know,
I have
would-
its for. Go ahead.
No, I haven't read it yet, but it's on
Yeah.
my list of stuff to check out because everybody I know who's read it has been raving about it. In fact, before Alan showed up at the Comic-Con this Sunday, yet again I had another dealer talking to me and was raving about the Goon.
Yeah, it's in it. I have his first appearances like Dreamwalker or Sleepwalker or something or another. I can't remember what issue it is. It was the book itself is no great shakes, but it has the first appearance of the Goon. Here is the first issue #1 of Green Arrow, and of course he's in Seattle.
Yeah, and then Mike Grell is just so good.
Oh yeah.
It's a great cover,
Mm.
and
I think he wrote it too, eh?
yes, he did. Here is Green Lantern, Green Arrow #90.
Another good book.
That's when they started the team up between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the artist, Matt?
Oh, geez. I want to say Gil Kane, but I'm not 100% sure from here. It's little.
Is it Mike Grell?
It could be. Yeah. You know what? It could be because but Neil Adams was the one that designed the new Green Arrow look, right? But Grell certainly made it look fantastic. And if that's a Grell, it looks great. I mean, I don't know everything he's done, but I do have a lot of his stuff.
I'm shocked at you, Matt.
Yes, I know. I'm horrible.
And I thought that you said you like Mike Grell.
I love Mike Grell.
Okay. Here is, I'm just teasing.
You know, I've had the opportunity to meet him 3 times because his best friend for a period lived in Ottawa, where I am. And so he would come to Ottawa Comic-Con just to have an excuse to visit his buddy.
And was his buddy an artist or was he a dealer or what?
No, it was just somebody he hung out with, somebody he knew. His buddy would come to the show and help him run the booth when his girlfriend of the time wasn't with him.
These guys
I say that because he's had 3 different girlfriends, and each time I see him, he's got a different girlfriend.
But sometimes I know these guys that are sort of these wormy looking comic book guys, and they have these knockout girlfriends, but I'm certain that they hire those girls to be their girlfriends for the day. This is my girlfriend. Yeah, right.
No, I would agree with you, except that I followed his webpage.
Not necessarily him. Not necessarily that
okay.
guy. But I have seen real Grubers, real troglodytes. You know, they have the basement full of mushrooms and funny books, and then they have some knockout Vampirella gal hanging out with him, smiling and laughing at all his jokes. And I'm telling you that ain't real.
No,
Here's
that's
Guardians of the Galaxy #1.
Nice. But I can tell you from
my
my music days, Stephen, I could tell you it doesn't matter what you look like. If you were a band member, you'd be surprised what would come and want to hang out with you.
Actually, I'm not surprised.
Oh.
This is just a great Batman. This is the Alex Ross, Harley Quinn, the first.
And we have that on our top 100 list.
It should be. It's an absolute. I have the statue of it. Actually, do you know, my LCS, he had gotten in a collection, and there were 7 of them. 6, 5, and they looked perfect to him. So he sent them in, And this is when Steve Borak was in charge of CBCS. He had just left CGC. And 4 of them came back 9.8, and 1 of them came back 9.9. And that's the one I bought from him. So I have a 9.9 of that book.
Nice.
Wow.
This is one of the lenticulars remember when DC had all those lenticular covers that they did?
That one I have.
I saved this one. I got rid of the rest of them. I actually have one other one. I like lenticular covers, but they wiped out the entire supply in the United States of the guck to make these lenticular covers, right? So then they had to basically ratio the stores. They were so popular. And now you could buy the whole set of them for beans. They'll put them together and you can buy the whole set. This was the toughest one to get. Was this?
Yes, Dial E.
Justice League, Dial E or whatever it is. But this is the mock candy bar cover.
Yeah, that's one of the 4 or 5 that I haven't been able to find.
It was so hard to get this one that when I traded in the set, I kept this because it was just too damn hard to get.
And that's why it's too hard to find, because everybody keeps their copy.
Well, and that of course is the name of the game as far as that goes. I purchased Alan Pollitt himself. His very first comic book that he ever bought was Howard the Duck #1. And here is a very, very high-grade copy of Howard the Duck #1.
That's cool.
And recently, Whodad, I believe it was Whodad, had a 9.8 slab of Howard the Duck #1, and I bought it because in the day, I went all over town trying to find copies of Howard the Duck #1 because everybody loved it. Steve Gerber's creation. It was so good. And he ran for president. And I have Bernie Wrightson did the buttons that you could buy for Howard the Duck for president. And I have a couple of those. And
I remember those being on for sale at the comic store. So,
and in the Oregonian, our paper, they were talking about the election, and they said that there were a lot of votes in the Portland area for Howard the Duck, which must be confused. Someone must have been confused that it was Donald Duck. I got so angry because they didn't understand that it was Howard the Duck. I wrote a letter to the editor. I was all bent out of shape. And he says, "What do you mean, Donald Duck? It's Howard the Duck, damn you." Here's the Human Fly #1.
Very nice. I love I love the fly. Like whether it's the human fly, whether it's the fly. I love the concept so much.
He, that the Adventures of the Fly, which was an Archie comic, the first 3 issues were done by Simon and Kirby.
Yep.
And issue number one and number 2, issue 3 had the cover in a little bit, but issue 4, then it was other people. But the interesting thing about that is that the story of Tommy Troy, if you've ever read that story, it's really dark. It's sort of like a black magic. Simon and Kirby had, when they worked for whatever it was, Crest Comics or whatever it was.
Right.
But they had black magic and Fighting American, and so that when it was all against the commies and stuff. But then when it morphed, they got over and they did the Fly, which predates Spider-Man by a mile. And at the same time, it's this little kid from an orphanage who the evil orphanage master guy loans him out to this grandmother and grandfather who beat him. And they say, don't go into the secret room. And of course he goes into the secret room, and here's all this mystical stuff, and it's Kirby and Simon having all this weird stuff. Not Ditko weird, but Simon Kirby weird. And then he finds this ring and he rubs it, and then Turan, emissary of the Fly people, appears and then gives him the power to become the Fly. Wow. And he's only a little kid. He's only a little kid for like 3 issues, and then he becomes Tom Troy, attorney at law.
Oh boy.
Here is. It's a great story, and they have a thing called the Wide Angle Scream, and it's the middle of the book, and you open it up, and it's this one huge panel with all these figures all over the place. Go on to read comics online, and you'll see it. It's a great read. It's
Black
dark and
Magic?
it's really
Black
cool.
Magic, Stephen?
What's that?
It was Black Magic, Stephen, and that appeared in.
No, it was no. Adventures of the Fly is an
Adventures
actual
of the
title
Fly
that was
from,
from
Archie
Archie.
Comics.
This was just as they were coming out of Black Magic and the Fighting American from that
Yeah.
company that they had. I can't remember the name of the company. I apologize. But they let them do whatever they wanted to do because Marvel was constraining them in what they could do or what they couldn't do.
Didn't they also do Captain Strong? Private Adventures of Captain Strong?
You mean Private Strong?
Private Strong, yes.
Yes, and that was supposed to be the big thing. And Private Strong, I think it's number 1, has a 1-page appearance of the Fly as his first appearance, a cameo. And Private Strong was a really tough book to get, and it went 2 issues and went nowhere. But it was sort of a Captain America homage.
Mm-hmm.
Inhumans number 1.
Always cool.
This is out of my Modern Key long box. These are, they're all alphabetical. Here's Inhumans number 1.
Nice.
Nice. And the Black Widow.
Here is Invaders number 1. And that is an Alex Schomburg cover.
Yes, I do remember that. I had that when I was a kid.
You can get them. They're around if you want to get them, and they're not.
Oh, I know. I picked out 5 or 6 Invaders out of the dollar bin in the last 6 months. Everything's around.
It's
Just
not bad.
today, I bought a long box from my friend who he's getting out of collecting and has a Schomburg Invaders cover in it. So I was really excited that was one of the things included.
Oh, that's good. Now this number 1 is king size annual number 1 because
It's the only annual, if I remember correctly, for that series.
And this is the actual Invaders number 1.
That is a great cover.
And the thing about the Invaders, did you ever read, Chonko, did you ever read The Shadow by Mike Kaluta? Have you ever read those stories?
I have not, no.
Absolutely the most phenomenal art you ever saw. And after about 5 issues, Michael Kaluta left, and his stylized, beautiful shadow art foreshadowing with the shadow on the wall, and then the shadow shows up, and it's just lush. It's beautiful. Kaluta's work is just beautiful. It goes to Frank Robbins takes over, and this is Frank Robbins. Now, Frank Robbins' art is very, very reminiscent of the Golden Age, and Frank Robbins' work works on the Invaders, but it did not work on the Shadow. It killed the title.
What I liked about the Invaders was they brought the Invaders in as a response to DC bringing back the Justice Society in their own book in the All-Star Comics.
Exactly.
And I thought that was a great way to do it, because I would have to say that I'm always going to like the JSA more, but some of those Invader books, especially the ones where they fight Baron Zero and Baron Blood, were much better than some of those JSA All-Star comics.
Some of the wildest covers of heroes fighting the Nazis is Pep Comics, is the MLJ books. They have some of the wildest covers as far as
It's true.
and Harry Lucy and all these guys that were at Irv Novick doing the Shield and all that. Harry Lucy did the Hangman. I actually have a few of the Golden Age Peps where they do that. It's pretty amazing. Here is Iron Fist number 1.
Iron Fist versus Iron Man. Can't go wrong.
Iron sharpens iron.
Sharpen
doing,
F. I have 2 more, and that's it.
What's the name of the Irona? Irona, the robot from Richie Rich. She's in the background.
Irona? From which issue?
Richie Rich.
Oh,
Irona,
yes.
the robot. She's watching the Iron Man fight with the Iron Fist just because.
In an iron lung.
I'm joking. In the Iron
Okay,
Lung.
I was going to say, I didn't see that on this cover. I usually see everything.
I'm making jokes. I'm trying to
Okay.
think of characters with iron in their name.
Listening to
Now-
Iron Maiden.
There you
Maiden,
go.
Yep.
Now, what is the significance of this book?
other than the Roger Moore wannabe on the cover? Is it the first appearance of what's his name?
Agent.
Coulson.
Exactly. And
Yes.
there he is on the cover. This is the first appearance of Agent Coulson.
Yeah, I knew the actor, but I could Clark. What's his name? But damn it, I couldn't come up with the character name for a second.
Clark Schmidlap. And this one, do you know the significance of this one?
Is that a Hellboy?
Yes. But he's just on the wall or on a computer screen inside.
Oh, I've seen
This
that.
was one of the rabbit holes that Comic Tom went down.
Oh, yeah, I
And
remember
so
that.
I went out and I bought a couple of these because there was they had all manner of little vignette exposures of Hellboy before they finally had him out. There was the floating heads in that Italian magazine. You know, I mean, this oddball stuff. Alan gets all head up about that stuff. That's my chunk. I relinquish the field.
Yes. Chonko, you're up.
I know you don't have a lot of time, Matt. I can.
Oh no, we got some time, just not. Like
Okay.
I don't want to go over about 1:30.
Sure. Oh yeah, I went.
It's a new month, so actually it's a new month, so I'm
Yeah, it's
reset.
February the 1st,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's right. Never mind, we're good.
Okay. So I have some Bruce Timm stuff. A couple recent Bruce Timm pickups like that I got kind of cheap. That this is one I didn't know about. It's and maybe you guys do. It's called Out There, California.
Nice.
Tim cover. I didn't know about this, but did a Tim search just on eBay. It came up. It was really cheap, and it's absolutely everything from Bruce Timm's cool, and this is no different. Really cool cover from Bruce Timm. Then another one I was able to pick up kind of cheap. Harley's Little Black Book, another Tim.
I've seen that in places, and it's one of those ones I keep thinking I should get, but I got so much I want that I never get to.
It's I think there's more than one cover of this. Don't quote me on that.
There's more than one cover of anything DC's done since 2015.
And then I have a couple real bangers, a couple big Tim books. I'll just roll number one.
Oh, now that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Stampo, you need to see this one. Come on over.
No, I see it. I see it.
Oh.
I know I actually have that book.
What I'm not
going to do is I'm not going to
Do Alan?
I'm not going to twinsy you. You, as I say, I see lots of familiar faces. I see a Bruce Timm over your right shoulder too. I see from Mary Jane dancing the other side.
Oh yeah. Got that one here, but this is a print of the next book I'm going to show. This is probably the hardest Bruce Timm to find, and in a 9.8, it's by far the most expensive. It's really I was looking for this for about a year. Finally got it, and it spent an embarrassing amount of money on it. But this is 5 Color Comics number 1. Bruce Timm did an homage to Golden Age comics. This is a variant of 5 Color number 1. The actual one, it's like a cave girl with like a gorilla in kind of in the snow. But then he did this, and it covers several different tropes from Golden Age, all in one magazine's sized cover, and it is this.
I have it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a great one. 9.8, that's a fantastic grade for that. Yes, I have a very, very high grade copy of that book.
Yeah. You have the damsel in bondage in distress, not in a red dress this time. The evil Nazi about to brand her, which Stephen, you'll be able to know this immediately, but it seems like the Captain America cover where they're about to brand Bucky.
Yes.
No,
Toro. It was Toro.
Oh, Toro.
And that was the Human Torch. The Germans would always had the brazier going with the swastika brand, and the Japanese had the chrysanthemum branding iron. Yeah. It's just it's a Schomburg trope. Actually, it's a very, very Schomburg trope.
Yeah. This took me a while to find, and I found it in a 9.8 on an auction, and there were several bidders, and I had to outbid somebody. But I actually have it in I have a right here. It's a signed and numbered print as well from Bridgeton. So, and then the last thing I'll show, and I think I think the other guys would really like these if they saw them. But picked up just this week number 1 and number 2, Reed Fleming, the world's toughest milkman.
Milkman. Wow.
The world's toughest milkman, Reed Fleming. And that was all I really had.
Reed Fleming. I confess that's a little. I like your Eerie above you. I like your Beware above you. You've got the crime suspense stories. You have a beautiful Witch's Tale. Is that the guy with the? I can't see now. You made it small. Thank you, Matt.
Hang on, I will put him back up. There you go.
Now the Witch's Tale, is that the guy with whose head is in the bell? Is that one?
Yep. Yeah. That I bought that raw and sent it off for grading. It came back as a 1.0, but it's still the cover's fantastic.
It is such it's like a hunk of meat. Go ahead. And there's the infamous one with the and the shock suspense with the KKK guy. Yep. I see you have a Weird Tales pulp on the wall.
1938. How about if I grab it? Very nice shape for 1938 pulp, Weird Tales. With the,
is the cover signed, Chonko?
No, it's not signed. As far wait. Oh, you meant it's got a JS.
Okay, I don't know who that would be. I collect the Brundage. I don't know if you saw that show that I had where I was showing all the Brundage Weird Tales. That's just before when they first said they were going to start to slab them. Then both Alan and I kind of went out and we bought a bunch before everything changed. As far as that
desirable one, the Bat Lady with her.
Yeah, the Etruscan, and then that Out of the Night is also a very nice cover. I love that book. That's a good one. Out of Night is a good title. Yeah,
agreed completely. Some other stuff. I'll do a room tour at some point on the channel, but I got some I don't know if you guys like Tim Vigil. I love Tim Vigil. This is like a Tim Vigil print, like a Faust and that kind of stuff. This is as I said before, I'm a big Cerebus fan. That's an original page from a Cerebus. I've got a Cerebus #1 reprint that. But it's signed. It's from Dave Sims' collection.
Nice,
very nice.
Kind of see if you can see this. Kind of a Vampirella. This is
nice.
Signed and remarked by the artist, and another.
Perillo? Who did it?
It's Kendrick Lim. I'm not familiar. But I saw it. It was on an auction, and again, it was one of these things where nobody was bidding on it, and it's amazing. It's
the Vampirella. If the Vampirella is who? What is the name again? I'm sorry.
Kendrick Lim, Lim.
Okay, it's a Lim cover. Okay, I have seen Lim before. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, and it's signed and it's remarked. He did a nice little, like a beautiful little remark of it.
Cool.
Right there too. So yeah,
very nice.
And again, it was one of these things on Comic Link. Sometimes people don't bid on these things. I got that for like $80 on
wow,
signed and remarked, and I was like, wow, what are you guys doing? What are you bidding on if you're not bidding on that? So yeah,
is that the eye popper cover underneath the light switch?
It is. It is the eye popper. The only Golden Age superhero I collect is Captain Marvel Jr. And I got
you and Elvis, huh?
Yeah.
He's all shook up.
So, yep, the eye popper is, I think most people who've seen it suddenly want this. When I saw it,
Thousand-eyed idol of doom.
And do you know who the artist was that did the cover? Thompson.
Oh yeah, it is.
Hey, it's right on the thing, doesn't it? Usually.
Yep. And another one was kind of below it.
Oh, that's insensitive. I love it.
some of the things about Golden Age is, to me, it's like one of the things I like the most about Golden Age is how bizarre some of the stuff is. Like and specifically, like, you know, for the time, like when specifically like Golden Age horror or the crime, where you're in a relatively innocent time, and some of the things that were done were like I did a whole show on Crime Suspense Stories 22, and
Right.
how this, like, when people started to realize like this is what's going on, like their reaction to it was like visceral, right? You know, and but that's part of the thing that I think I like about it, is the magic about, first, that these books exist, right? Like that these have survived this long in their paper, and they survived paper drives and the staple drives and the panic from parents when they were burning these things, and people rolling them up and putting them in their pocket and riding around on their bike, you know, and then you know, somebody took care of this. Somebody did.
Yeah.
And I need to take care of this so somebody else gets it, because this is history and it's important, and some kid needs to see this, and
Yep.
they need to have this, just as 4 or 5 people probably had it before me, maybe 10. You know, that
You're preaching to the choir, my friend.
I know I don't mean to go off on a tangent on that, but
You're singing to the choir. You're a
Yeah.
man of my own heart. I mean, that's precisely. I just had an Okajima pedigree book
I saw that
slammed.
It's amazing.
And I didn't want to clean and press. I didn't want to push the grade. I wanted to leave it just as it is. And all of my mile highs are still raw. Most all mile highs have been slabbed. All of mine are raw. I bought, and actually, in the photo journal, if you have a Gerber photo journal, Ernie Gerber owned the Black Terrors and Excitings. And so I bought them through a dealer from Ernie Gerber himself. And the ones that are pictured in the Gerber photo journal are mine, and or were his, but now are mine. But the thing about it was this: in the future, there are so few that haven't been monkeyed with, because a lot of the big ones were, even though they found the Mile High collection in the 70s, late 70s, whatever, when 2000 hit, a lot of these, they had already had these books restored, that is to say, conserved. And so they were all sent in to be slabbed, and then they found that a lot of the timelies, I know that, a lot of the biggest books were dealt with, because they were trying to preserve the book for the future. It's what do you do? You have a thing of antiquity that is literally precious in the hobby. There aren't that many of them. So what do? You preserve it, you protect it. And what do you get from the CGC? You get the purple label of death and chop the value in half because you took good care of your book. I think that sucks.
How many people in the 80s overstreets were advertised as restorers?
Yes.
That was the thing back then.
Right. That's something I've learned from you, actually, is like how back then it was actually you were taking care of the book, that it wasn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as you're disclosing it, I mean, like, I don't think there should be like that much of a difference with the purple label. Maybe some, and depending on how it was conserved.
Well, if it's trimmed on all 3 sides, and they have the cover has been a photocopy put into it, and all of that stuff, now that's something else. But if you have tear seals, if you have maybe a little bit of color touch, and the cover is cleaned, but not in the prescribed method of cleaning the cover.
Right.
You can dry clean the cover and press it, and that's fine. But if you immerse it in distilled water and vinegar, and then you press it out, oh, you've had the cover clean. And then they'll say, well, then now it's been conserved, which is another knock. Anyway, it's troublesome. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You don't interrupt me.
Your video on this is on my what to watch list. I haven't seen it yet.
I hope you watch it. It's a bit long, and people don't really watch the long videos. But I kind of went into this, and I went into my copy, and I got like 7 different like homages to this. But my copy has this label that some kid put on it. So they didn't write their name, which is kind of unique. They wrote, but it's Ronald Johnson from Pinckneyville, Illinois.
Oh, I want to get a hold of that guy. What's he putting labels on my books for?
But I love this. I love
yeah.
that this is on here. And
Some
this
kid's
is like,
book.
it's like provenance. This kid at some point owned this book and took care of it enough that I have it now. So Ronald Johnson, man, I'm glad you did this. I'm glad you did it. I know it knocked my grade down, and you suck for that part. But the rest of it, that you took care of this enough that I can have it and enjoy it and show it to all of you, and we can talk about the Senate hearings and saying, oh, it's not that bad. You can't see her whole body. And
well, it could have been blood. It could have been red. I made it black,
right,
and you can't really see, and you really can't see the bottom of the neck. So what's your problem?
Right. Well, I have another one. I'm sorry. I know you're running low, but
shock suspense stories.
This shock suspense stories with the hanging cover. It had a chunk taken out of it, and somebody drew in the guy on the cover.
That's funny.
Like, I love
he looks like a Star Trek person.
Yeah, it's Kirk.
It's a terrible drawing too, but like I think some kid drew in that guy
at a hanging.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good for some kid, Chonko. I have to say, that's pretty darn good for some kid.
Or maybe it was an older person.
Hi, Monty.
Hi, Monty. I enjoyed your show today. It was really good.
Splash. I hope it's your friend Ronald Johnson. Please ask him if he ruined my copy of PS 22.
Oh,
Matt, can I show a few more? Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm just going to make an announcement quick. I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning of the show. Now we've got a few more people in the stream. I've changed the number of my next giveaway. I'm going to do my giveaway at 529 subscribers to honor the amount of books that Adventure Comics had in its run. And I'm still going to do the 714 later, but I've decided to do a little small one in between because that's the crazy kind of guy I am.
What's 714?
714 was the number of Superman Volume 1.
Okay.
Okay, let's make Steppo big and let's make him our grand finale.
Am I okay? I'll grand finale you. Here is Captain Marvel. I have my boxes right here. I alphabetize them so that I can get to them. If I don't, I'm lost. If I go by character, I can't. It depends on what it is. The funny thing is when you file a book and then you say, okay, I'm going to do something that I'll remember. What's logical? Oh, this is a logical.
Do it autobiographical.
and then the man anyway, but this is from August of 1942, and so this Pearl Harbor was still a shambles in August. I mean, they were coming back around, but this is a really great war propaganda cover where he's smashing these Japanese guys trying to get away. I have a higher grade copy. I got this copy that was it had a spine roll that was enormous, and I had it cleaned and pressed, and it came back a 4, which I was stunned that it came back that high. This is another one of those Bud Thompson covers, and this is Captain Marvel Jr. number 53.
Another one of my faves.
I need that.
And if you look at the cover strike, the color strike on this cover, it is so lush. It's incredible.
The covers on Captain Marvel Jr. are just really, really cool.
That's what Elvis said too.
I guess he did.
He had the double lightning bolts on his costumes and stuff. He combed his hair. Like Captain Marvel Jr. What was Captain Marvel Jr.'s real name, Chonko?
I don't know. I'm buying all like cover buys, really, honestly. I don't know.
Freddie Freeman.
And he got it anyway. And this will look familiar.
Yes, yours is better than mine.
I
What a
was very
beautiful-
lucky to get this. This is not an easy. I bought a raw copy as well. One came up, much to the chagrin of someone whose name rhymes with Alan Pollitt. He
I bought a raw copy
was
for
very
mine.
he was bent out of shape.
I got a raw copy off of eBay of that arrived to me with like 4 pages missing, and I had to return it.
That hurts.
Oh, yeah.
You get your juices going for it, and finally I got it. I'm home free, and then I've had that where the and then here's just one other one. This is really an odd one, the Captain Marvel storybook, which was another one of the Fawcett titles. I was unfamiliar with this, but it's of the time when they were, where they had the blood drives. Thank you very much. Elvis has left the building, and this is from the spring of 1948, and here is the back cover, and look what they gave you.
What is it? What is this? I can't read it.
It says, "To all my pals, Captain Marvel. Here's a pinup of your favorite character, pals." And the guy saying that is Billy Batson. Sort of a little bit of self-serving there, Chonko, wouldn't you say?
Well, but also it's like when they did this, it's like some kid's gonna cut that off and ruin my comic book in the future.
His comic book. And that's that Richard Johnson guy or whatever that put the label on that, because and a lot of guys put their names on the covers because they didn't want someone to say, "Well, that's my copy." The hell it is. I have my name on it. You like Bruce Timm. I like Bruce Timm. We all like Bruce Timm. Here is, let's see, go the wrong way. There's a Bruce Timm homage by an artist named Shane McCormick, and he is in Ireland. And he did a couple covers, and I contacted him, and he is amazing at doing this. So here is a Bruce Timm homage.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And here is, there's the sketch. He included the sketch with it so you can see where he went and how he
I
went.
love that. I absolutely love that.
Isn't that fun?
Wow. I absolutely. I've seen you. You've shown the one in the past. In fact, I asked about it. The one, but that is amazing. The Zatanna is amazing.
Kara Inzi.
Here's Kara, and she appears to be awfully cold where she's flying. I don't know about that.
She sure seems to be.
Amazing. It's just amazing.
Luckily, she's got that S to cover it up.
Isn't that fun?
I love it. Yeah. Absolutely love that.
She's great.
Here is there's a character that's in Pocket Comics, and it's with Air Fighter, and it's the Black Angel, and this is the Black Angel.
Jeez.
Now, and if you like Dave Stevens, he did a cover similar to this.
Yes.
And she is a World War II hero, sort of like a Catwoman kind of thing, where she climbs up walls and stuff, and she beats up Nazis and things like that. The Black Angel, and so Shane made this, and he colored it, and it didn't turn out. And he says, "I'm not going to send it to you because I hate it. It didn't turn out. I'm not happy with it. It's not leaving here. I'm going to destroy it." So, but I had seen his pencils before, and they were beautiful. I said, "Could you just do it in black and white?" And I said, "The only thing I would ask you to do," I always let the artist have his head and let his muses direct him. I've got a piece coming pretty quick from a guy in the hobby, one of the guys that is a collector and a seller and everything else. His name is Matty Freeze. And he is in the process of doing a commission for me. He's on one of these either strictly affordable auctions or madhouse auctions. And he likes horror books, and he likes good girl books, but good girl naughty books. Yeah. And then he will actually produce covers, have them slabbed at CGC with a yellow signature label for him. I mean, that's the guy is just amazing. But he's working on one for me now that I am over the moon at how happy I am. And I gave him his head on it. And when I can show that, I am so excited to be able to show it when I get it. And it'll be finished tomorrow, and it'll be on its way to the CGC to be slabbed. But so what I asked Shane to do, I said, would you please, in the first incarnation, the swastika was like one third the size of this. And I said, could you make the swastika as big as you possibly can in the background to make it clear what is actually happening? And so that's what he did.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Now, Dave Stevens has the Betty Page. And Jennifer Connelly was the gal in the movie. What was the name of the character, Matt?
Betty.
In the movie, that was Cliff's girlfriend's name was Betty.
Well, in the comic it was. I haven't seen the movie.
You haven't seen The Rocketeer?
No, I haven't seen The Rocketeer. I'm a very bad nerd. Okay.
Well, you're not. It's not that you're a bad nerd. You're missing out. It's so lush what they did. I don't believe that's her name. I will let you.
You know what? I'll look that up. I'll let
you stew in your juices. So there's a picture of her. There is a picture of her looking like Betty, which is who she's fashioned after. Jenny, thank you.
Yes.
So there's a picture of her on this. There's a big giant size magazine of her, and I will show that to you. Hold on, I've got it right here. This is by a company called Jetpack.
Yes.
And it's the size of the Treasury editions. It's huge.
Alan sold
very hard to find these things. Alan had one, and I said, "Oh, I have to get it." And then when I got it, he says, "You got that because of me." And I said, "Well, yes, thank you." He says, "No, but you understand. You got it because I did. You got it because I got it." Yes, I did. Mea culpa. Okay.
Yeah, maxima culpa.
Maxima culpa. So, but look at her. Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Now, I asked Shane, I said, would it be possible to do that a la Bruce Timm? He says, I would love to. And so what he did, he then sent me some samples. And then when he finished it, I wasn't happy with the way the face looked. And I said, he says, I didn't like, looks like your bride, Lyle? Lyle,
lucky
have you had your,
you're really lucky.
I don't see that's the he's got the gal that he paid. Remember I told you that's what these collectors do, where they pay the hot gal because yes, my girlfriend. Either that or it says, oh, she's on a photo shoot. I can't really give you a picture of her. She's on a photo shoot right now out of town. Bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, so this was the first one that he did.
It's good.
It's a good.
And I looked at her face and it was friendly, but it didn't say what that said.
I agree with you. That was the first thing I noticed when you held it up.
And so I said, it's her. She's not.
Lyle's awesome.
Big Lyle. But it's friendly, but it doesn't have it. So he said, okay, I think I know what you want. He sent me a picture of a different face. And I said, that's it. So then he sent me this one.
Oh yeah. See, that's it. That's fire. That's absolutely fire.
Isn't that fun?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
Yes.
great.
God.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I'm Swedish, almost Scandinavian, almost 100%. And when my mother's, I only have a few more, Matt.
Oh,
If is it all
sorry, I
right?
wasn't sure if you were done. So sorry. Of
All right.
course.
If I stop talking for a moment, it's because I have to breathe. I'll talk myself down, and then when I have to finally inhale, it takes me just a moment to fill the bag back up again to start spewing all this crap. Um, sure, my grandmother's skin was so thin, and I just brush against something. Now, it never used to happen, but I brush against stuff. My wife gives me these, Susan gave me these things that I could put on my arms to protect it. But even if I brush against a wall or something, and my skin is so thin now that it'll just break, I'll break the skin. And she'll say, "What did you do? What did you do?" And well, I'm 70. I'll be 72 this year. So there are these things that, you come up and I kind of go, "Oh, well, I guess I get to deal with that now." It's just one of those things. Here is,
You don't look 72, Stephen.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's comic books keep me young. Either that or it's aging me. It's one or the other. I think it might be both.
It's humor.
Um,
Humor keeps you going.
Seven Seas #4 is one of my favorite Schomburg covers. It's the red cover with her fighting the shark.
Right.
And I asked Shane, can you do something a la Bruce Timm? And this is what he did.
Wow.
Hi, Christina.
It's Matt Baker, right?
That's a Matt Baker cover, but he put a Bruce Timm spin on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You accidentally said Schomburg. I was like,
Oh, did I say Schomburg? I beg your pardon.
I was just like, man, I know that's Matt Baker. I know I haven't been wrong this whole time.
I apologize. It was because I was looking. I apologize. This one is one of my favorite Joe Doolin covers, and the one that is, I have it posted on my wall. It's an orange cover with a gal in a green dress, and there's a Jap Zero coming in to get her, and she's in a parachute, and all the harness and straps and stuff are binding her in very appropriate or inappropriate places, depending upon your point of view. And from my point of view, it's the right places for that parachute harness to be. And I said, can you do something Bruce Timmie with that? And he said, I sure can. And this is what he did. He went away from the orange cover and went green.
Wow.
Nice.
That's cool too. Yeah, I really like this guy.
His name is, it's either Shane McCormack or Harry Lime. There are two names that will hook up to him. And he does do commissions. If you wanted to reach out to him and see if he would do one for you, I don't know what his schedule is, but I've had him do quite a few. One of my favorite Archie covers is Archie Comics #50. And that's the Betty on the sofa saying, Archie, this isn't Veronica. You called the wrong number. If you come over here, I'll refund your nickel. You see, in the 50s, quote unquote, refund your nickel, unquote, means something else entirely. Use your imagination.
Oh.
Okay, you're with me now. So I asked him to do that, and he came up with this one.
Oh wow, that's great too. It's like the best Archie cover, right? That and then there's that Betty and Me where it's like where he's carrying her out of the water. So those are like my favorites.
The double entendre.
Yeah. had to beat off 3 other guys.
This one is a Superior comic from Canada, from Toronto, and it's sort of a sordid thing where it's sort of this romance title, and it's from Canada. They did it, but I had him redo the cover, and this is just what the cover looked like, except she's not as scantily clad.
Yes.
That's awesome.
This one's much better.
And then one of the comic books that supposedly will be ever coming to me from Alan's Kickstarter, which I heard a while ago. I know that money was taken from me to get these books, and I'm still waiting. Matt, do you know that Epoch in Scotland got his book?
Wow, good for him.
Epoch in Scotland got the book already. I
And you're
haven't
what,
got.
like
I don't
an
even think
hour
mine
away?
have shipped. I bought every book that he made, and I haven't even shipped yet. I don't. So, but one of the guys that he did um, is the guy that draws Mandy, who is this blonde character who looks sort of like Gwyneth Paltrow. And I said, "Can you do a Bruce Timm of Mandy?" And so this is Mandy. She forgot something this morning, but her mind's in the right place.
You're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be.
Boy, when you were growing up or later on in your life. Hello, no hellos to Comic Journey. Um, Phantom Lady 17. Did he ask if this was live, Matt?
No, he did not ask if
He
it was
didn't
live.
ask if it was live.
He
God,
did
that
ask
man.
about what it makes it superior to other comics. That was the name of the
He's
company.
he's slipping. He didn't say if this was live, and he did say no more hellos. I guess that'll do. Phantom Lady 17, a la Bruce Timm.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's amazing, too. I love it.
And you see, all of this is pen and ink.
That's so
Amazing.
cool.
Just a couple more, and then we're done.
Ooh,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I can't believe the stuff you have. It's amazing.
Yes, I know it always like shames me. I'm like, oh man, he's got
No,
everything great.
you guys, but you've got a whole decades to go. This is this is just I appreciate that. You're very kind. Half of the fun of having this stuff is being able to show. When you were a kid,
Yeah.
you could go over to a friend's house and you'd take your comics over and he'd have his comics, and then you'd read together and you'd look and you'd share and you'd look at them, maybe do a little horse trading or something like
Yeah.
that. And of course, you can't really, it doesn't happen anymore. We do this now virtually. And then if we actually see one another at a Comic-Con or something, then it's so much fun to have it to be in person with someone, and you make friends because you actually can push a button on your phone like on Instagram. If you're hooked up, you push the button on it and you're talking to them. It's like the Jetsons. So I have a friend that's in England, Mark Oldroyd, and for the hour differences and stuff. God, CJ. One of my favorite characters to have is to draw is Power Girl. And I said, "Can you do me a Power Girl a la Bruce Timm?" He said, "I sure can." And here is Power Girl.
Another nice one. Another great one. And I'm a huge Power Girl fan. I collect Power Girl covers whenever I can find them. Yeah, that's amazing.
I have that, and I have that one that's done by Lau. That is the last issue of the Power Girl run where she looks similar to this. Her hair is the thing that I really like. Here is another Zatanna. This Zatanna, I asked him to do. Oh, thank you very much. This another Zatanna, and what I did was I took the frontispiece, the splash page of Hawkman #4, which is the first appearance of Zatanna. And I said, "Can you Bruce Timmish that image?" He says, "Let me get a shot at it." And this is what she looks like on the splash page.
Yes. That's the original look, and she's beautiful as she does it. She's beautiful as always.
Yeah, she's always great. Great character. Great art. Awesome.
The only outfit she had that I didn't like was that outfit she wore in the late 70s there
With the cape and the cords and
Yeah.
stuff. What was that? Or the jumpsuit? She
It
had a
was an
jumpsuit
attempt. It was an attempt to, be less comics oriented and cover her up because
fishnet stockings and the tuxedo showing her legs and a top hat. Please.
there was also the fact that Black Canary was in fishnets and in the Justice League, and Zatanna they didn't want to have two fishnet outfits.
Why not?
I don't know.
The more fishnets, the better. And the last one,
ask Jeanette Kahn. She was the one that made the decision.
well, Jeanette and I haven't talked for a while. One of my other favorite ones is Betty and Veronica, as you know, and Betty and Veronica, number 41.
Hi, Hungarian. Welcome to the show.
Hi, crazy. I am too. Issue number 41 is the one where she's in a skirt and she says, "Do you think boys think that short skirts make girls look taller?" And Betty says, "No, but it makes the boys look longer." Okay.
Nice.
And it's a Harry Lucy cover. I said, "Can you do this?" And he said, "Well, I will Bruce Timm it up." And he says, "I will." And this is what he did.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's good.
Now
Yeah.
I'm a Betty boy, but I could go for Veronica there.
Oh, I'm on team
Veronica.
I'm on team Betty, but Veronica will do in a pinch.
Yes, I got to tell you. So one of the homages I did from the Crime Suspense Stories 22 episode I did is a Betty and Veronica where Betty has cut Veronica's head off and she's holding it, and I have a couple.
Oh yeah, that the yes.
Yeah, so I've got about 7 that I go through, and that's one of them. And yeah, love Betty and Veronica, but yeah, I'm a Veronica guy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Veronica is good. I like that one with her diving into the pool with Archie and Reggie outside watching her dive in. Veronica has sexy covers here and there and attitude and everything else. But Archie 50, the best good girl cover is Archie 50. And I think that also the one with the two of them together where it's the gymnasium cover where she says, "I can't help it if Archie's after me. I don't chase after him." And then Betty's on her back doing the bicycle. And she says, "Yes, does the mousetrap chase the mouse?" And that's those Betty and Veronica 50, Betty and Veronica 40, and Betty and Veronica 41 and 42. Again, Harry Lucy, the Harry Lucy covers. He just does it for me. I like Montana. I like DeCarlo. I like Dan Parent. I do. But Harry Lucy in the day and what have you, the way he draws them, it's just something, it's magic the way he does it.
I have an original a Dan Parent page from a Betty and Veronica comic.
I have a couple commissions by Dan Parent that he did. Well, he's very reasonable. Contact him and he'll do it for you. He's a very nice man. You just tell him what you want. I've got him in the stack back there behind. I have quite a few Shane McCormick's.
Nice.
I have quite a few Shane McCormick's, but I also have quite a few Joe Michael Linsner covers, Linsner's. And Linsner does commissions too, but he's so busy now with all these covers he's doing for Dynamite or whatever else he's doing,
right,
that it's really hard. I mean, he always said to me that I have quite a few from him because I started getting commissions from him in, I think, 2014. This was the first one I got from him, and it was Harley Quinn, and he did it at the show. I have it up on my wall, but I have a Bruce Timm. What do they call it, Chonko? What do they call it? Giclee, Giclee, Giclee. It's like a painting on canvas, and it's a print. It's really a heavy print, and it's of the Avengers by Bruce Timm. And it's signed by Bruce Timm and Stan Lee. And it was there were only 99 of them that were ever done, that was signed by both of these guys. And I have number 9 of 99.
That's awesome.
And they turn up every so often. But if you put Avengers, Bruce Timm, and it's Iron Man in his yellow armor.
Yes.
And I love the 48 Buick armor of Iron Man. I always loved it. And then he shifted to the Chevrolet with the red and gold. But I love the 48 Buick with the antenna coming out of his shoulder and the transistorized roller skates and all this stuff that he had. It's just fun stuff. Okay, Matt, it sure is nice of you to join me on my show.
Yes. I want to thank you very much, Stephen, for joining us tonight. And Chonko, Mike, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Chonko.
You
Thanks,
look
guys.
like you have some great books, and I look forward to watching more of your stuff. If you haven't subscribed to Chonko, please do so. He's really good. I've watched a couple of his videos already. And thank you all for coming on tonight. This was a bit of a last minute thing, but I figured I saw that a lot of people weren't on tonight, so I figured let's have some fun.
I
Thank
like
you
it.
all.
Thank you for letting me
Thank
come
you
on.
very much. Hey, no problem.
A pleasure.
Thank you, everybody who came in today. We appreciate you. Remember, 529, and it'll be a good one. All right? Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
See you later.
Thanks again, everyone.
My name's Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Good night, everybody.